going on, everybody? It's Rick. This is the VermiHut Plus. We're going to do a check-in today and see how everything's looking. Okay. I think I ended up just wiping my hands with this and throwing this guy on top. So I'm just going to take this out for right now and make sure I add that to the feeding area. Oop. Started at the edge. I wanted to be in the middle. This is where the feeding area was. Well, it was a cucumber. Now it's just cucumber skin. Man, look at that. It went, I believe this is the one that turned yellow in the garden. So I put it in the freezer, but you could see it was just loaded with seeds. Yeah, that's it. All the food scraps are gone. What's kind of funny, cucumbers, for how fast it goes, the insides, because there's a lot of water, the skin stays around for a long time. Same with basically like tomatoes. So it's kind of neat seeing and making sure that you understand what you're feeding. You may see the skins left around. I'm going to go ahead and fluff this bin. And to me, it was looking pretty good last week, or last check-in, but I'm going to actually do the rotation now, and the bin that's below this, bring it up top to get ready to harvest. So that's kind of the plan. Let's make sure everything's nice and loose here though, and we'll do a swap out. So I actually will give this one last feeding and add a little shredded cardboard to it too. I actually touched some stuff with my non-gloved hand, so I'll wipe some of that material off. Okay, so first thing, some coffee grounds. That's just another food source for the worms. And with my K-cups, it's pretty easy to collect those coffee grounds. So, got them some asparagus. The last time I was at my brother's, I got some citrus peels. If you don't know, the worms can eat citrus, onions, even hot peppers. Typically I would feed it in moderation. This bin's been going for many years now, so this has enough biology to really kind of take care of this. If you just started and you only have a couple hundred worms and the bedding's real fresh, I wouldn't recommend putting a large amount of either onions, oranges, hot peppers, things like that. But as your bin becomes more established, it's a fine thing to do. So with that being said, if you guys aren't sure or don't know, make sure you follow so you can go ahead and see in the next feeding if those orange peels are still around. Okay, and there we go. Another handful of pulp from the juicer. This one has carrots, I believe some lemon zest, and then kale and spinach is the greens. On top of the feeding, I'm going to do what I normally do. I'm going to add some ground up eggshells, and I'm reusing an old pickle jar. I have tons of pickle jars. I use them for canning pickles for myself, and then also for my sourdough. So we will cover that up a little. And I absolutely hate when it gets really low like that, so I'm going to add a little bit more bedding right there too. Now, this all depends on what you guys are looking for when you're going to harvest the castings or the vermicompost. Me, I do not care if there's some cardboard, some leaves, some twigs still in the vermicompost. I'm perfectly fine with that. Typically, I have it in a storage bin, and I'll add a handful of the shredded bedding right into it just to give the worms and the microbes a little bit of food. And I do periodically throw a little bit of food scraps in there too. So having a little bit of extra chunkiness or material is not a big deal for me. I just seen this guy, so I will add that to the top. Now, what I'm going to do now is actually lift up 2 trays and run my hand along the bottom to knock off any of the castings or bedding that is stuck. And I feel a decent amount down here. So see, that was actually stuck to the bottom of the trays. If you have a dedicated wormery or a section that you don't mind if castings get thrown everywhere, you don't have to really worry about this step as much. However, I'm doing it in the kitchen, so I want to go ahead and take care not to make a huge mess that I have to clean up after recording this. Or a huge mess even if I wasn't recording. Yeah, so and see, there's even a little worm in there. And all I did was just skew the trays on top of the other tray. This is the lowest level. All this started with was some pre-composted bedding down here. And I mean, these guys are doing a great job. There's moisture down here. And basically, when this gets rotated up to the feeding level, pretty much the next feeding, you can see this is already breaking down very nicely. So right now, this system is actually pumping castings out quite often for me. Yeah. So, very happy with that. Now, this is that current feeding. It's going right on top. I need to make space in these corners for my little spacers, my risers. I seen a long time ago from Anne from Plant Obsessed. She has them, and it helps out so much in terms of the compaction. These castings, they really want to push down because they're moist, and then the weight. So adding these little risers really helps to eliminate some of that compaction. Okay. So just get it close to the corner, and then I can kind of backfill with some of the vermicompost. This one's going to be more bedding, which is fine. With that feeding, I kind of have it mounded up a little bit, which I don't want it super high with with doing the swap out, or with doing the tray rotation. And then because I keep touching all these castings, I'm getting material all over the place. So now, come on. Now that I have the tray rotated to the middle, this will be my pre-harvest tray. I'm still going to add a little bit of the worm chow on top of that feeding area. And then check this out. I want to say that this has only been down there for a month, maybe 6 weeks. They are truly cycling through this material. And see, I have a little bit of fresh bedding still on my hands. It's not, like I said, a huge deal for me. But look at all those worms. And what I'll do is, once I stop recording, I will leave this light on over top of them. And then I have what came with this system, a little rake. So I will use that to just kind of rough it up, agitate them a little bit. And then because the worms don't like the light, they'll start forcing themselves down basically into that new feeding area, which then will become the pre-harvest level. When your castings, like these are pretty moist, they kind of see how it's clumped all together. So I want to do my best to just break up any large clumps. A couple things happen. It's going to help the increase that surface area so they can dry out just a little faster, because wet castings, if you've ever tried to sift them, is a real pain in the butt. That, and it kind of, another side note for why doing this is kind of good right now, is I'm going with that light / aggravation method. So these worms were just all happy chilling in the dark, and now they got my big hand knocking them all around. So they're going to say, hey, this area is not as nice as what it once was. Let's get out of here. That's basically the whole tray rotation here. Like I said, definitely make sure you follow along if you're not already subscribed. I have the VermiHut, couple natural bedding bins, a little shoebox bin, a 5-gallon worm bin, and a half a rain barrel with European night crawlers. So I have a ton of different bins, and I like sharing and showing off the bins and helping to answer any questions you guys have. Well, thanks for coming along, checking out the video. Everybody have a great day.